I don't want to dwell too much on it, but just to get your opinion, if Thomas Tuchel took over at France, how would everybody react?
Badly, I would say badly. We tried once with Stefan Kovac in the 70s, I think. It wasn't a real success. It was even more than that. I think it was a disaster. But yeah, it doesn't go with my spirit. I mean, with all due respect to Thomas Tuchel, and I agree, he's a top coach. Whatever he did with Bayern Munich or at the end with Chelsea, he's somebody who has experience, but it doesn't suit me in a way that I don't agree at all with what Pep Guardiola said. You know, in order to play for England as a football player, you have to be born in England. In order to play for France, you have to be born in France. And I think he should go for head coaches as well. It should be the same for me.
That's
for
not the rules, though, Frank. I understand what you're saying, but if they aren't the rules, why would you adhere to a rule that will make you worse?
No, okay, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Maybe for, I would say, so-called little nations, maybe it can help them to have a better coach. But really, for England, I mean, you already tried Ericsson. What was the Italian coach? I forgot his name. Capello, and now you have that. Ericsson was kind of a success, let's say. Capello was kind of a disaster. He didn't even speak English. And I don't know. It feels strange for me. I'm very sorry. It feels strange for me to see a German coach at the head of an English, nation as in football. I would have felt very strange to see a French coach in Germany, or a German coach in France, or an Italian coach in France. Doesn't go that way. We have a culture, we have rivalry, we have everything. It's bizarre for me. I'm sorry to say that. I'm like Sean Dyche, and most people in England, they would have loved an English coach. I think he put himself in a very strange situation where as soon as they would have a bad result, it's going to come out. Yeah, did we take a German coach?
But we don't want to dwell on this, the whole Tuchel scenario and why and who should have been appointed. The one thing I will say, France are not desperate, Italy are not desperate, Germany are not desperate, Spain are not desperate. These big countries, elite countries, they're not desperate. England, to me, are desperate. They're desperate because they have failed since '66, that World Cup, to do what these other countries have done, not on a regular basis, but quite often, is to win either World Cups, or in Spain's case, they were mopping up everything in that period from 2008 to 2012, pretty much. Then the French were involved, you know, in Frank's team in '98 and beyond that, and the Germans down in Brazil and beyond that, and the Italians, and they've had their bad times, but they're not desperate because they've all done it. England have not. And there's an air of desperation, continuing to search for somebody that's going to take us to that finish line and over it. And that's where they are, and that's why they continue to search outside of England. The other countries, they're happy with what they've got, they've had success, and they're a little bit more patient.
Jack, what do you make of all the furore that's been going on?
Personally, I don't get it. And to Frank's point, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. We've had English coaches, we've had Dutch, we've had French, we've had Brazilian, Colombian, you name it. That is par for the course. And while I can understand Frank's argument that, you know, let's keep it uniform. If you are to represent a country, you're supposed to be born in that country. If you are to coach similarly, that's fine. But then, you know, to Frank's further point that he may have an issue with a French coach coaching England or coaching Italy, and they're French and Italian and English coaches up and down the Caribbean, up and down the African continent, and nobody raises an eyebrow to those. So for me, this is a whole lot of a whole lot of discussion that just doesn't feel valid, because when it's other countries,
you don't have to be.
It's not raised.
You don't have to be born in the country to play for the country.
Well, but you know, right?
You have
but similar. If you want to have those, if you want to have similar rules, I understand. But my point is, this happens everywhere else in the world,
right?
Without anybody raising an eyebrow, without anybody making comment. Why should this feel different? It doesn't to me.
Anything you want to add? I'll give you the last word on this, Frank, if you like.
No, but I just think that yeah, every points are good, and I can agree with that. But I think that at the end of it, the reason that England doesn't win anything anymore is not because of the bad coaches that they had. It's because of the spirit that they have. I mean, we can all agree that for most players, what is more important is their club. And the chemistry between different players coming from different clubs never match. It happened to France in '92, where we didn't qualify for the World Cup in '90 and the World Cup in '94 because they were Paris Saint-Germain and Marseille players. And they were hating each other.
Now. You can talk about the Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal. We've been to 2 finals, Frank. It hasn't been a complete disaster.
No, that's not a complete disaster, but you have the final stuff. It doesn't work because you can feel that.
Because we needed a proper manager. Now we've got a proper manager, and we're going to beat France in the final. England, and you will cry, Frank.
England copying Scotland again.
Let's see. I wish you the best.
England copying Scotland. Scotland had a German manager 20 years ago.
There you go.
And did it work?
What?
It did not.
30 votes.
No. 30 votes. Let's hope Thomas Tuchel goes down a little better.